Hey.
I got a strike while the iron is hot. One of one, don't follow flocks. Man, I got this on lock. Team Harvey, team hustle, team can't be stopped. Just cop 900 glory, yeah, I'm fresh out the shop. Let's talk bowling. I'm an expert on the lane. Yeah, smooth approach, about to roll a perfect game. And well connected with the sport's biggest names. We can't talk unless an X on the frame. I'm here asking the questions, clear the air and confusion. Fresh, humble, and arrogant with the logo infusion. Red cut for the right vibe. I got the answers. You going live with Bowtie.
Hey, what's going on, people? I am your host, Mr. Bowtie himself, Brandon Grant. If you guys, I know this has been a most anticipated show. A lot of people couldn't wait for this show. But before I really get to going here, I want to give a special shout out. I don't know who did it, where it came from. I just received it in the mail today. And it was an anonymous person. And this cup right here, y'all see this? Oh my goodness. This is the new red cup of Going Live with Bowtie. Y'all see this? Hey, don't touch it when you see it. All you can do is look. Hands off. This is for my hands only. But whoever gave this to me and bought this from Sparkling Crystals is the company's name. Sparkling Crystals with 2 S's. Thank you. I am beyond grateful for this gift. Like I said, I was just packaged and I'm like, I didn't buy anything, but this right here, hands down, the best gift ever. So y'all will see this on the shows from now on out. This is my new red cup. But now, no further ado, I am going to bring the first family on Going Live with Bowtie. Everyone knows them. If you don't know them, they have a story. And it's a great story, I guarantee you. I am going to bring the Kearney family to the screen. Eric and Kim Kearney. How are you guys doing this evening?
Doing well, thank you.
Well, thank you for having us.
Man, no. Thank you guys for giving me your time. Seriously. And thank Ron for reaching out, man. I really appreciate that dude, man.
Yeah, we love Ron. Ron is from back east. You know where I'm from. He's from Richmond, and you know bowled against him a lot. You know back in the day. So shout out to Ron Sims.
Yeah, man. Like he told me, he was like, "Let's get the Kearney family on." And in my mind, I'm like, I don't know them. Like he was like, "B, don't worry about that. I got this." And I'm like, "Okay, I'm gonna make my big bro. Go ahead. That's all you." And then, look, I don't know if you guys hit that screen over there on the top right, you'll see comments. If you want to hit that over there, you can see what people are talking about. But hey,
sounds good.
Yeah, hey, dude, this is, like I said, I don't know. I've never been nervous, not even when I'm bowling against somebody special. But this show here, man, is it's a special one to me, special. So I said, I just want to thank you guys, seriously, man.
Well, we're happy to support, Brandy. You're doing something great.
Thank you. Hey, like I said, guys, y'all already know, viewers, shoot them questions. We are now, Kim and Eric are officially in Bowtie's hot seat. But no, I'm going to start off with a question. Hey, a lot of people know you guys. You guys are very well known in the bowling alley. How does it feel to be idolized as the first family like the Obamas in the bowling scene?
I talked to Rod today. He's like, I hope that you don't mind us calling me that. You know, Eric and I have, bowling has been great to both of us, and I've bowled all of my life, and it has certainly allowed me to do a lot of the things that I love, which is to teach and to compete, both of which are really important to me and have been dear to me. I'm sometimes surprised, but certainly honored to hear that people look up to some of the things that I've done. And, we appreciate it, but I'm not sure that we quite qualify in that category, but thank you.
That's a pretty lofty standard right there.
Right.
Hey. Oh, but like, hey, Eric, how do you feel about that?
To just be, obviously mentioned in the same breath as somebody like that is a little daunting. But just know that, as a family, we've given a lot to the sport, and the sport has given us, as much back, if not more, than we've given to it. So we're honored, we're blessed, and we're happy to be here with you.
Hey, there you go, guys. Like I said, shoot your questions to the Kearney family, man, because I know they have a lot of experience. They have stories. And that's what this is all about. We all want to know the bowler outside the bowler and how we got here, and then that's why I kind of created this platform.
Sure.
Hey, my thing is, hey, where did you guys meet?
You.
So Eric and I met at Bowl Expo. He was there for, I think we first met it was a coach's clinic, and then we were both on Ebonite staff, and so he was down doing some work down in the bowling center after that evening, and we just started talking and got to know each other. And he was running a pro shop back east in DC.
Shout out to Gary Parsons.
Gary introduced us, and he kind of brought up the idea of me going out to DC to do some work, to do a demo day. And, typically we don't go outside of our region. So, I would go to I was living in California at that point. So it was, I think Gary had some pull, and they managed to get me out there, and we just became close friends, and there we are.
They knew what they were doing when they sent you out there. They knew Eric was out there.
I was, we were doing pretty well in that pro shop. The pro shop was in Hyattsville, Maryland. We're doing really, really good numbers out there, and Gary, brought me on, taught me how to, believe it or not, taught me some things that were a little ahead of the curve, and so we started to really do, some numbers out there, and at the time I was on the Ebonite amateur staff, and through those connections, shout out to Damon Sirocco as well. Damon, kind of pulled some strings for us with Ebonite, and got Kim out there, and as you say, as the kids say, I shot my shot. So, and I mean, it was from long range too, right? So it is what it is.
Hey, that's what's up. Because I can honestly say, dude, like I said, never met you guys, but all I heard was, man, Kim was a cutie pie out there, and man, Eric caught him a good one. Like, I'm just saying. Hey.
But hey, I tell people all the time, I am the president of the Overachievers Club, and I'm taking applications.
Man. Hey, look, Jerry Johnson from Vegas says, hey, what have you guys been doing since the COVID?
In the house.
We are certainly respecting the quarantine, and we've been home. We have a 20-year-old and we have an 8-year-old, and so the first part of it was really spent just sort of handling her distance learning, and from 9 till 3 we were strapped to this desk in second grade. And then, in the meanwhile, trying to do what I needed to do to kind of close our school year down at A&T. And, we would sort of flip flop. Eric would do the mornings, I do the afternoons. But, every day we take a walk as a family. That's sort of fallen off. Right now, it's just me and Eric mostly. Nicholas and Ava are not really feeling the 3-mile walk. The hotter it gets, the less they want a part of it. Yeah. It's getting hotter here. But, yeah, just... I don't know. We find something. He's sick of me, but we find something new to do every week. If it's not a garden, it's building a headboard. He hates that. Just trying to create some memories while we could have sort of lived through all the craziness that's happening right now.
Yeah, how big is that honey-do list?
Well, see, the thing about it is that the honey-do list is spontaneous. So it's spontaneous. It's not. I can't check these things off. It's, hey, what about this? And I'm like, really? So, now it's just trying to do things, around the house, get some things done. A lot of people have seen that, I've gotten back on the grill, and so I'm really, into cooking again. So we'll see what's popping.
Okay. Hey, Ron Sam said, Eric, do you miss the belly of the beast?
Ron's got
You
jokes.
gotta explain to that what that is, because I have no clue.
So the belly of the beast is the industry itself. And if you didn't know, I was an executive with USBC for a number of years. And so, what it was known to some people in my circle was the belly of the beast. And so, I do. There are things about the industry that I certainly miss. Creating programs that help underserved communities and creating programs that was on the philanthropic side, but also while we were at USBC, we had the opportunity of streamlining, the efficiency, streamlining the business itself, and helping people not lose their job, as opposed to massive layoffs that were going around in 2009 and 2010.
Okay. Hey, look. Hey, Tyrone Julian, he's from down here, said, Kim, are you still coaching? If so, when can he get a lesson?
I coach collegiately out in North Carolina. So we live in Greensboro now, and I coach at North Carolina A&T State University. We have just a women's program there.
Aggie Pride.
This is my going into my 5th season there. So that pretty much takes up most of my time. I'm sort of finding my way back into the Team USA program. So I'm involved with the women's program next year. This year it would have been, but unfortunately things got pretty much canceled for these summer events. But
right.
That's mostly it. I don't do much outside coaching other than that.
Hey, Tyrone, she says she don't coach old people. So you're already out. Done. You're done.
He is old because he's my age.
Oh, so you know Tyrone.
I do. We've been together a long time.
Uh-oh. Yeah, Tyrone, you old. Kim, you look good. Tyrone.
Yeah, you can't call us old.
No, Tyrone been knowing me since I've been a little kid. Wow. Let's see here. The funny thing, hey, where were you born? This is for both of you guys, but I know Eric already kind of hit on it. But Kim, where were you born and raised?
I was born in San Francisco, so raised in the Bay Area. Lived there until Eric and I got married in California, and then I left shortly afterward and went to Delaware to start kind of coaching collegiately when I coached at Del State. So I was in California for the first 40 years of my life, and still
Wow.
home. My family is, everyone I know and love is still there.
Up in the Bay Area?
Yes.
Okay. And what about you, Eric? I know you said you was an East Coast baby.
Yeah, man. I was born and raised in Washington, D.C. Went to school in Maryland, out in the county. Played a bunch of sports while I was out there. It was decent. Came to A&T to play football and did some things. But yeah, my whole family, just like Kim, my whole family is still in D.C. I'm the only one who left, so it's pretty cool.
Okay. Hey, right. You see what these comments here, right?
Yeah. Hey, Gigi's mommy.
Hey, and look, shout out to Sparkling Crystals. I'm just saying.
I feel
yes.
that might be who
thought that in who this for. Yeah.
My gut said.
Yeah.
Yes, dude. Hey, tell you that y'all don't even know what that did to me today. Have no clue. Have no clue.
We love the Masons.
Yeah, they are absolutely amazing. Absolutely. Did both of you guys? I said, this is kind of life story and all that. Did both of you guys grow up in the house with both parents?
No, I did not. I grew up in a single mother with a single mom. My dad and my mom split up when I was about 3, and never really put that back together. So my mom was instrumental in my upbringing. She toiled and struggled, but I had what I needed, not necessarily what I wanted all the time, but certainly what I needed. And but I had a strong support system around me. I grew up with a number of cousins, and I actually have a sister out in Las Vegas, a stepsister, that lives out there. Shout out to Angel.
Okay.
She's probably watching. But I grew up with three cousins, on my mom's side. So, but yeah, my dad passed away in 2009, and
Wow.
so it's been kind of strange, but he was a good dude. We just didn't, we didn't see a whole lot of each other.
Okay. And what about you, Kim?
Grew up with my mom and dad. I have 3 older sisters. My dad started. Our dog is driving us crazy. My dad started us bowling. I was 8 when I started, so all 3 of us started then. And my mom just passed last year. My dad passed. It's probably been, I lose track, but it's been a while. So, but my parents, couldn't have been more supportive throughout my career, and there's not a thing I would have changed. They just mostly by example, I feel like, taught us what was right and wrong. To go to work every day, to be kind, to be decent and real with people, and I'm grateful for all of the, and a very big family. My dad was the oldest of 10, and my mom was 10 of 12. Yeah, they came from Alabama and Arkansas to San Francisco, and so we had so many cousins, and almost everybody really migrated to the Bay Area. So I grew up with a very big family. So almost the complete opposite of Eric.
All right, but like I said, you guys, but you guys make it work. And like I said, you're his support system. He's your support system. So it just works.
Yes.
Hey, look, Tyrone said, "How is your sister?"
Sandy's great. She's great. She works for United, so it's a little scary right now.
Yes.
She's worked there since out of college, so she's trying to figure all that out, and what the next step is because of all of the COVID, restrictions and all. But she still bowls. Yeah, she still bowls. She runs a league. My dad started when in the 70s, 60s, late 60s. And it's a league that he took over, and then Sandy really ran it. When I was still at home, we bowled it together. It's just a handicap league that we love, and we've moved from a few centers because they've closed, but she's keeping it going, and I love it.
Look, Ron Sims asked, Kim, what is your greatest victory as a professional bowler?
I'd have to say the first U.S. Open, simply because we fought so hard. I think as a group to get equal prize funds. It was back when it was still sponsored by the BPAA, and it was the biggest prize fund that I think even to date that we'd ever bowled for. But they gave the men more, and so we worked hard, and we brought Billie Jean King in, and she came and tried to rally and get support for women's bowling and equal pay. And so I'd have to say that. And obviously, because it's the U.S. Open.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Eric, how was it being there front row and center, man? How emotional was that when you seen her win?
There is a funny video of me clapping as she's winning. And, being the diversity officer at USBC at the time, it was crazy because there was so much media going on, because not only was it my wife that was, in the finals and was bowling well up to the finals, but then when Trisha Reed, made the finals as well, and it became the first African American final, for, a women's championship and certainly for a major championship. So
Right.
now all of the media was coming into me, asking me all of these, diversity questions and first ever questions. And to be, not only on the USBC side of things saying, hey, this is a momentous occasion, but also, hey, I want my wife to win. So it was, it was just really, it was kind of crazy at that moment. And then, it was the first time I had ever been a part of one of her victories. And so it was, I didn't know what to do. Shout out to Dino Castillo for drilling those balls.
Yeah.
And it was just a crazy moment. And she, she's directing me, telling me what I need to do. She's like, hey, go do this. Hey, go do this. Hey, you go. And I'm like, I have a media thing I got to do as well. So, we might have to tell somebody else to handle some of this stuff.
Hey, for Kim, hey, how was it being on tour, looking around, but not seeing a lot of African Americans out there?
So I went out on tour in 1989, I think it was. And no, there wasn't much diversity. I mean, it was me and Cheryl. I mean, every week. That's pretty much, depending on what part of the country that we were in, what the field looked like. But for the most part, week to week, it was simply me and Cheryl, for a lot of years. And it just was, we would go to these small towns all over the country, and there'd be plenty of weeks where I wouldn't see another Black person, much less, because we would go to, I don't want to throw out cities because it's been too many years now, but I mean, that was just simply the reality of it.
Right.
I'm grateful. Cheryl certainly extended a hand when I came out as a rookie and showed me a lot of what was out, what to do and how to kind of navigate being a professional bowler and figuring out how to do it. But it was just, for 16 years, it didn't change significantly.
Okay. Look, Jamie Wells, she got a question for both of you. Kim, being a coach on one of the highest levels in the sport, and Eric being a former executive in the sport of bowling, what were some of your contributing factors that assisting you in your success?
I'll take that for me. Yeah. First you have to have a love for the sport, and in my case, I tried to educate myself as much about the sport and as much about the people in the sport as I could. So to try to see things from every perspective, from the proprietor's perspective, from the pro shop perspective, from the player's perspective. And so creating those relationships through the sport, I was able to, obviously meet my wife and then move on to the USBC. And once you get an opportunity to have a platform, you do the work that's necessary, but you do the work with integrity, and that's what I tried to do, and it worked out for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's your turn.
So I want the question back up there.
Oh, there you go.
I love you. Thank you for some of the contributing factors. So I think the reason I coach is because there's been so many people that have assisted me along the way, whether it was, certainly at home with my parents and, I bowled in college with my sister. I've had so many mentors in the sport that have just directed me towards the success that I was able to, whether it was winning or just simply having a long enough career to make a dent and luckily, happily being a Hall of Famer. It came so much from people showing me the way. I mean, I had, certainly the work ethic, but I always thought that I was incredibly talented, but I think it really came more, and Eric has probably opened my eyes to this, that maybe I'm not as talented as I thought I was, but I certainly worked as hard, if not harder than many, to get what I'd hoped for and what I wanted in the sport. So I feel like I've been given so much that is very much why my successes have, sort of come with the help along the way. And that's why I feel so indebted to give back and to continue to help people kind of realize their dreams wherever it is.
Right. Do you, coaching college, do you preach that to your student athletes on as far as hard work pays off? Or do they just feel like I'm good and I don't have to work as hard?
Oh no. That is pretty much the
what we don't coach is work ethic. Yeah. So if you plan to, bowl for North Carolina A&T, that work ethic already has to be ingrained. We don't coach that. That's non-negotiable for us. So
we don't coach effort.
Yeah, we don't coach effort. That is the term. We do not coach effort.
There you
go.
So
if we have to coach you, to tell you what to do, you'll watch.
Yeah, it's just that's what it's about, and I think it is. It's just how I was raised, and you've got to be willing to put in the work, and if it's not the right place for you, if that's not how you come in here, because you will get left behind.
Yeah, absolutely right. And I say that all the time to my basketball kids that I coach. I said, dude, effort, you know how much that costs? Effort is free. It's free. It's in you. But if you don't have it, then you're just going to be sitting on the bench. I can't coach.
I can't beg.
No.
It wears me out.
No. So here's how we look at it, Brandon. The game is complicated enough. The game is complicated enough, and what we have to realize is that we spend our energy trying to make you better. We cannot spend our energy just trying to encourage you to try. I mean, that's what it comes down to.
Right.
So if we have to spend our energy trying to encourage you to give it a shot at what we're doing, then
yeah, I always say this, a little bit my recruiting spiel, and sometimes I fear that it sounds big-headed, but it really isn't. Like, I feel like I can make anybody better, but if you want to come here, what I look for is character. What I look for is work ethic, and I look for willingness to be coached, and those are the things that matter to me. I may not get the best kid in the country, but I certainly need to get a kid that wants that cares about what we're up to and what we stand for and what we're trying to build. Right. And then with that, I believe that I can nurture you to become the best player that you can be, wherever you want that to be. Like if you're cool with just playing here and there, or if you want to be an All-American, you want to go out on tour, you want to be on Team USA, whatever it is, like you get to make that decision, what those goals are. And I hope that it can match what you're looking for, but like those are your choices.
And we have, we certainly have a group of kids here who have bought in.
You've got us passionate about this part.
Yeah,
sorry.
Man. This is where it is.
But is it easy getting recruits to come to you guys' school knowing who you guys are?
No.
No.
It's not. No. I mean, I love where I am. I couldn't be at a better institution. The support that I get at North Carolina A&T, the program, how they treat our sport, how the community, not just the bowling community, but just the community at large, the respect that we get. Like this is the right place for me, but not everybody is built, not everybody's comfortable, not everybody wants to be in an HBCU.
Right.
And, we're proud to be here. We feel like you're going to get an amazing education at A&T. And in the meanwhile, hopefully you're going to get some national championships and you're going to learn, leave here smarter and better. And that's the only thing I can promise you is you will leave a better bowler and a graduate of a great institution.
A world-class institution.
There you go. Hey, look, Kenny Saxton asks, who was the toughest?
I don't know if you know, but I'm a graduate of A&T, so I'm biased very much.
Oh, so you Ron Sims too, because Ron Sims is biased.
Yeah, I'm biased. I mean,
He's biased.
yeah,
Crazy.
so I mean, there's no better institution in North Carolina A&T State University in my book. But I mean, the simple fact is that not the program, the bowling program stands on its own, just like Kim said. I mean, if you give her some time, she's going to make you as good as you can possibly be. She's going to have you reach your potential. Now, with that being said, the kids who want to come here, we're recruiting against the best schools in the country. So no, we're not going to get every single, all the good ones. We're going to get some. We're going to get some good ones, and we've got some. We've got some really talented kids here, and we've got some really talented kids coming in. But it's
got to be the right fit.
It's got to be the right fit, and it's just that simple.
There you go. Hey, look, Kenny Saxon asks, who was the toughest competitor you've had bowled against in the championship game?
It's, what would you say? I would have to say, certainly, my good years were also the good years of Carolyn Dorn-Ballard. It was very difficult. There was a season where I think she won seven tournaments. So I think Carolyn sort of epitomized the best that we had at that time. She worked hard. She had the mental game, the mental toughness.
Yeah.
So I probably have to start there. I had, you develop friendships when you're out there. And so, Leanna and I became very close, and but it was always easy to leave that behind. Like that didn't come into play when your shoes were on. So I feel like that's what Eric was going to say, that it might have been Leanne, but it really, that stuff is, I got to pay my mortgage. I want a pool, like whatever it is that drives you to win.
Look, it's crazy. I got a message earlier and said somebody was the best doubles partner ever. And
Linda Barnes. Linda Barnes is the best doubles partner that anybody can have. That is my story, and I will always say that. We bowled together in college. We grew up together in Northern California, and the thing that I had with Linda was, like, there's just no fear in her, and so I could look at her and I'd say, we got to go off the sheet to win this match, and she'd go, cool. Like there was nothing I could say to her that would rattle her, and whether I was terrified at the moment or just so driven to beat whoever was across the lane from us. It was just, she was just like, I got this is cool, whatever you need me to do, Kim, I'll do. And so
wow,
she has always and will remain the best that anybody can have, but certainly that I've ever had.
That is absolutely, like, I've met Linda now, and like she still has that fierce attitude in her. And I guess it's never going to go anywhere because she's just like, I don't care. And
yeah, it's special. It's not, there's not a lot of people that have that. I know I don't have that. I spent far too much of my career scared.
Wow. Hey, Thorland Gregg said, is Texas in your future again?
I'll see. Yeah, I love Texas. I never thought that I would say that when I was like, I don't want to live in Texas. I loved living in Texas. And our kids do. They both want to move back.
Really?
My 8-year-old is like, Mommy. She's like, why did we move to North Carolina? She doesn't get it, but so Mommy can follow her dreams.
Wow.
But A&T is a good place to be.
It is.
Look, hey, Mr. Bias over here. We got you.
She knows.
No,
she knows. And we loved living in Dallas. And and who knows? Like she said, our kids want to move back to Texas, and if that's where they're going to be in the long term, it's possible.
Yeah, no, I am certainly happy here. I don't see any reason to leave anytime soon at all.
Kevin Gabinski.
Where do you guys know him from?
And his beautiful Kevin, I met Kevin. He used to work for USBC in the media department. And so we met way back when I was on tour. And I don't know, he wrote just a bunch of cool stories about women's bowling. And we went to his wedding.
Yeah, so when I started at USBC, I moved to Milwaukee. And Kevin quickly took me under his wing, showed me the city, took me out to lunch. It was one of those transitional periods at USBC, and everything was kind of topsy turvy. But Kevin was a friend, and his beautiful wife Jess. We went to their wedding, and they have a beautiful little boy now, and we love them.
That's what's up. But look, Kevin asked, what impact has NCAA women's bowling had on the sport as a whole?
I was sort of involved in when bowling was a emerging sport at the NCAA. So we're trying to push for schools and universities to adopt it and to get it enough for it to be a championship sport. And so the idea that we could provide an opportunity for young women to play at a top collegiate level, get an education at the same time, I was all for it. I had always wanted to coach in college. I was not a good youth bowler. And so I learned how to play at San Jose State. I learned from those people. And so that was something that I wanted to give back. So I think my passion for collegiate bowling always sort of came through. And the idea that it was then going to become an NCAA sport, I think it's just made the world of difference. I mean, we've seen so many young players come out of collegiate bowling, whether it's NCAA or USBC collegiate, and found success at the Team USA level before we got the tour back, and certainly we see all these great players out on the ladies tour. So it's to provide, whether it's through scholarship or not, an education, and then just the idea of learning how to be a part of a team. I think it's the greatest thing we have. I believe collegiate bowling is the greatest thing we have.
Hey, that's like I said, I've never honestly, I myself didn't know collegiate bowling even existed when I was in high school, because I think I probably would have put the football down and possibly tried to step up my bowling game to bowl collegiately instead of getting a scholarship for football.
Yeah. Do I get to ask how old you are?
Absolutely. I'm the young buck. I'm 38.
So like when I grew up in California, we had a Northern California League and a Southern California League. There were so many teams up and down just California, from San Diego to Cal State LA to Fullerton to San Luis Obispo and UC Davis. So there were so many programs and so much opportunity then, where now it's sadly the West Coast struggles a bit with programs, and I know San Jose State still has a program, Fresno does. I think there's another few that sort of come back and forth, come from one year to the other. But
that's crazy, because I didn't know that.
So many schools. Wow.
Hey, Ron said, what was the most valuable lesson you've learned bowling on tour? And that's for Kim. And as a USB exec for Eric.
You go. I don't know why I thought these were going to be easy.
Wow. As an executive. So, as an executive, what I learned was that you can't please everyone. It just doesn't work. So you educate yourself. You try to see every perspective, and then you make a decision. And hopefully that decision turns out to be the right decision. But you make the decision and you stand by that decision. That is the biggest thing, and that's what I've carried on through my life, is to be unafraid of making a decision.
That's what's up there.
Valuable lesson I learned bowling on tour. So we're out there every week with the best bowlers in the world, and I think the difficult part of being out there is trying to keep yourself together mentally, and your self-esteem, and your just continuing to love who you are and love the sport. And so I feel like I'm grateful I learned this lesson. I feel like I learned it a little bit later in my career, but is figuring out how to be, I know it's weird, is figuring out how to be cool and good with who I was at the end of the day. You know, so that meant playing without fear and with some guts and without regret, because I think I spent a lot of the time worrying about what people were saying, worrying about, you know, if I made a TV show, I'd go home and they're like, why'd you wear your hair like this? Why'd you wear that shirt? Why'd you miss that 10 pin? Why'd you know? And so there was so much, I felt like there was so much criticism that I got so wound up into such a little ball that I didn't know how to play anymore. I was so worried about what everybody was saying. And later I learned that the thing that most mattered was that, could I look myself in the mirror at night? Was I cool with who I was that day? And so, it made a difference, you know, and then my career really did make a change for the better. It's when, there's my sissy, when that, it's when the majors came, and when, you know, I worked with Dr. Dean a lot, and one of the things that we talked about is like being willing to play out on the skinny branches.
Right.
You know, I was careful. I was comfy being in the top 10. I was comfortable being in the top 10 in earnings. I was paying my mortgage. I had money in the bank. I had contracts, but I didn't have a lot of titles. I didn't have a lot of TV shows. He's like, and until you're willing to go out there and play with the big girls, then, you know, this is where you're going to land. And so we talk a lot. I feel like I'm talking a lot.
Oh no, hey, this is y'all platform. This is what we do. This is what we do. This questions are gonna come. I wrote questions down, but a lot of times I don't have to even ask my questions because the viewers come on and ask questions. So this is what we do here. Hey, you guys you have so much love. So much. But look, we're gonna go back to Angela's question. She says, "What was your favorite team you ever coached?" Please be careful.
So Angela was my anchor bowler when I coached at Delaware State. Currently the head coach at Kutztown University, so we're super proud of her.
And she's doing a great job over there too.
Yeah, but she's trying to make me say that I love my Dell State girls more than I love my A&T girls, and that just can't be, Ange.
Hey, look, I don't know if you've seen that other comment. Look, that Chris put up there. Hey, Chris, don't try to take it back now. Hey, Linda is fierce. She's trying to give you a high five, but she does want to beat you by 100. It's okay. Yeah. Look, she does. It's okay.
Yeah, hey, that is true. Don't let it trick you.
For both you guys, honestly, I was asking somebody earlier today, how does it feel, or what do you guys feel? Is it right for the PBA to be bowling and then cancel the women's season?
I'll speak to that. You know, those are two different entities, right? So you have two different organizations, and those organizations, once again, it gets back to decision making. So you educate yourself, and then you make the proper decision, the decision that you think is best for your organization. If the PBA believes that they can safely, you know, go out and entertain us as fans and do it in a safe manner, then you know, more power to them. If the USBC does not believe that they can, you know, safely put on a PWBA event, then you have to respect that decision. But the simple fact is that you take all of that information in, you look at it, you make a decision, and you go forward. So is it right or wrong? That's for other people to decide.
Okay. I just feel, this is just me myself, women feel probably the PWBA women feel like, man, how can these guys bowl, but we, you know, do the same thing and we're stuck in the house.
You know, again, if it were the same entity, then I could see that point of view. If they were all under the same, you know, the same leadership, under the same leadership umbrella, I could see that, but they're not. So, you know, the two leadership teams for the two respective organizations have two different philosophies. So therefore, you have two different outcomes.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel for my friend. I can't imagine, not having the opportunity to make a living and to pay my mortgage. We have, still a lot of good friends that bowl competitively, that bowl professionally on the ladies tour, and their disappointment, their frustration in not getting the opportunity, because they've certainly lived that in years past where they just didn't get to play, and so it breaks my heart for them. But at the same time, I think the safety of all involved should override that. And
Right. Yeah, that's wow. I would, with utmost respect, since y'all citizens game. Look at this. With the utmost respect, since y'all seasoned, like she.
Question. That's a really good question. Because
that's hard.
Yeah, but that's a good one. You really don't know how good that was.
Fun of my Lynn's. Hey, Lynn's was good to me. I was on there. They were my first pro staff contract. I worked hard to get that contract.
And they still send us a Christmas card every year.
They are some wonderful people.
Yeah.
And Dexter has done a lot for the sport, and my team wears Dexter.
Right.
Since
it's just like saying Ebonite or Brunswick. It's like whatever suits you, whatever you feel like, matches your game. I'm not gonna do this.
I guess since we're seasoned, everybody wanted a pair of Lens back in the day, right? So and then Dexter came out with the newer technology, and it was something that needed to be had. So
there's plenty of people that have no idea what Lens
are. What Lens are, right?
Hey, I can't say yes, I'm young, but I do know what Lens shoes are, but I've never owned a pair. I've seen them, but I've never owned a pair.
I had everything. They were good to me.
My first pair of Lens. Shout out Tony Walton. Gave me my first pair of Lens.
Wow. And how old were you then?
Oh man, I was probably 12, maybe 13.
Wow.
Fine. I worked hard, and I got some red and gold ones, and someone stole my bag out of my truck. A car. I lost my first pair. They were $100. You got to
they were $100.
Measure your foot. That was so much money.
That was a lot of money.
Hey, that is funny. Tennille, this is my guest tomorrow, guys, just to let y'all know.
Tennille's trying to be funny.
Yeah.
Question. She's asking, so I have a very real fear of heights. And we bowled, junior team had PABCON championships in Panama. And we had a friend of the program. She was on the Panamanian team, and she worked at the Panama Canal. And she said, hey, I'm going to figure out a tour for the team. We'll bring you guys over. And Tennille, was our team manager at that time, and she set it up. And all they told us was, hey, you have to wear closed-toed shoes. So I have no idea what we're about to do. We walk out, we get out of the little cab, and before I know it, we are walking across the canal. And it's still a bad experience. I'm showing pictures of this last week on my page about how, so nobody likes her, but it was very uncomfortable. I don't know how I've spent the whole time shaking, because knowing that I was like, I have to walk back across this thing to get back to safety. So
you have to go across and come back.
Yes, yeah. So you can walk across, and they show you how they lock it and close it, and it's just this little walkway that you're walking down, and it's terrible. It was awful.
So would you do it again today?
Oh, never. No, I would never. I don't even know what came over me, because typically I will say no. I will wait for all of you right here until it's over. And it just came up so surprisingly. I wasn't prepared. And before I knew it, I had stepped on and I couldn't get back. So.
Oh man, that is funny. Look, DeJuan Clark said he had a pair of custom-made high tops.
He did. I think DeJuan is the first person I ever saw in high top Lens when I was a kid. I wore high tops later in my career, but DeJuan.
I couldn't even imagine bowling in high top shoes. Are you kidding me?
They were great.
Yeah, those were custom made,
Dewan was flashy when we were junior bowlers. We are old Dewan. He was, though. He had a pretty game.
Yeah, DeJuan Clark told me, he's like, man, Brandon, you have no idea. I've been around bowling for a long time.
He remembers my parents. He used to come up north and bowl. We had this big tournament called Pacific Coast at the bowling center that I grew up at. And all the kids from Southern California would come up, and Dewan and Delana and so many good people. Chip Pettiford, all these great bowlers from,
Look, your lens didn't count if you didn't have a nameplate on the back.
Now that takes you back. That takes you back.
Did you guys have a nameplate on your shoes?
I didn't have a nameplate.
No. But certainly, a lot of people did.
Wow. Hey, look, Royal Miles said he used to paint his before they came out with other colors. Wow.
They were you could pick any color you wanted, any combination that you wanted.
Yeah.
So people had all kinds. Zeke, oh, this is a long one.
Zeke is my main. That's my brother there. I love Zeke.
Zeke has been to our house. We love him.
Yeah, Zeke is an awesome guy. Let's see, Kim, what is the aspect of your physical game that you focused on the most throughout your career? So you can answer that one, Kim, and then I'll let you finish.
My release, because I didn't like the way I threw the ball. So I was, I had so much axis rotation. So I kind of grew up on short oil, and I was always on the side of the ball. I could never get up the back of it. I would struggle in today's game. But so I was always trying to figure out how to stay behind it for far too many years. I would go anywhere and everywhere around the country to work with whoever that could help me. And they all told me the same thing. I just, there's some things that we have, and you just learn to work around it. But it was always that. Okay.
And then for both you guys, after working with USBC for a while and coaching, what do you think could help streamline youth bowlers to continue bowling into higher competitive levels after high school and college?
For as far as I'm concerned is, and the thing about bowling today versus, kind of when we came through is that the advent of social media and the internet, and to understand that you can get great coaching, virtually now. So the things that you want to do is you want to tap into the opportunity of finding a good coach and making sure that what you're practicing, fits your game. Again, we have a philosophy of as a bowler, you get to be who you are. What we're going to do is we're going to highlight your strengths and we're going to work on the weaknesses. So if you can find someone that fits your personality as far as a bowler is concerned and a student, we would, that's the first thing you have to do. It's really, really difficult nowadays to do this thing on your own and to do it alone.
Yeah, I feel like it's opportunity. I sort of, we all know how expensive it is to be out there. It's far more expensive than it was when I did it. Sure. And, I had a great collegiate career, and I couldn't find a sponsor when I finished college bowling. And luckily I went and bowled some tournaments and made some money, and it was enough to kind of put me out that first swing, and made enough that swing to, push me forward to the next. And my parents helped on the, when I was younger, to help me kind of make it through a few of the years. But, finding, folks that can help get you out there, because there's so much that you can't learn at home.
Right.
I always remember people saying, I want to go on tour, I want to go do this, but I'm not ready. And like, you can't learn this stuff at league and at you can't. You need to, you got to get out there and figure out how they break down and what you need to do, and learn from those mistakes.
Right.
And that's how you best prepare yourself for success. And so finding ways to support folks to get out there so that they can do that. I think that's, and there's so many, I see Team Harvey. There's so many people out, around that, that are helping, allowing that to happen. Harvey,
Right.
by the way, when I was a kid at L&L Castle Lanes, Harvey used to work the front desk, right? He moved to California from Ohio, and he was our front desk guy. I don't know, he couldn't have been but 22. He was young, I know, but I have known Harvey since I was a preteen. And,
Wow.
you know, he's been a part of our family.
Now he's just an old fart.
He is an old, grumpy man. He is old and grumpy, but I love him.
We love Harvey. We love Harvey. So
Not grumpy.
I'll say something, you know, to kind of piggyback what Kim was saying, and that, you know, today the bowling community is so small. I mean, let's look at it like this, Brandon. We've never met, but you knew someone who knew us, and someone through Ron Sims, and so the bowling community is so small that you're probably 3 degrees separated from someone who can really, really help you. And so if you make those connections, if you continue to be, you know, a person of character, someone will help you. You just have to keep pushing. And then when someone tells you what to do, you know, you have to be willing to put in the effort.
That's what's up there. Hey, if you guys didn't listen to that, I hope y'all heard it. I hope y'all heard that, because like I know I have Vern in my corner, Charles Elias in my corner, and like I said, Harvey Johnson, very, very, very knowledgeable as far as bowling wise. And it's a lot of people that's, like I said, in that inner circle. And like I said, you just have to be willing to take that advice.
It's true.
But you have to ask. Closed mouth doesn't get fed.
Hey, and Zeke told me, I learned that from Zeke, because I was bowling the tournament and I threw the ball okay. And I was like, Zeke, why you didn't come over there and help me out? Zeke turned and looked at me and said, because you didn't ask.
I always feel like when I was on tour and I was struggling, I would always go to the veterans and I'd go to the people that were winning. And I'd say, what do you do? What do you think about when this is happening? People love to talk about themselves.
Right.
They really don't mind sharing their secrets. They will tell you everything.
Wow.
Be afraid to ask.
And sometimes I think that's my biggest thing. Like, we can talk, but it's like asking for help. Ooh. Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. DP asks, what is some valuable information that you tell your bowling team?
I'll just say it depends on the player. To be honest with you, they're all so different. What works for one doesn't work for another. We focus on things that try to. We basically try to say, focus on what makes it go right. Focus on what makes it work, and then we go from there.
Yeah, I'm a big believer of knowing what makes your game work.
Yeah.
Whenever things go bad, you have to be able to fall back on your fundamentals and trust them. And so if you don't know what things have to be in place for you to throw it well, then you're going to struggle when things go bad.
Right.
So, physical point, that is, that's kind of our philosophy. I think mentally, what I love about our team and is that there's no give, there's no quit in us. So I believe, that may have something to do with me, because if you watch me coach, I'm pretty animated. Like,
Uh-oh.
I never believe we've lost. And so, and I feel like they've certainly taken that part of my personality on. And, sometimes we don't get out in front well enough, but we will never quit.
No.
They always believe that they have a chance. And so, I'm proud of that. I think that's something to convey to young people these days.
Ever won the national championship?
Before I got here, they won the USBC Collegiate Championship 2 years before I got to A&T. But
Okay.
We've not won an NCAA championship. And Linda Barnes is making fun of my taping method that I learned in college. And yes, I use different colored tape. There's a lot of different colored tape in the industry now, Linda, so you can't make fun of me. It's not funny anymore.
What was I tell you, so you and Linda both went to San Jose.
Yes.
What made you pick San Jose? Why stay close to home?
I went to San Jose State because I grew up in the city, like I said, and John Jelks was a youth bowler in our junior leagues, and he went to San Jose to bowl on their men's team. And he came back one summer and said, "College bowling is great." And so my older sister Sandy decided to go to college there, and she bowled on the team. And I was, again, very average, not very good at this point. And I was like, I don't know where I want to go to school. I went down and practiced with them, and I was like, all right, whatever, I'll go here, because I did everything that Sandy did. And I fell in love with it. I won't say that I was in love with the game of bowling at that point. I was just an athlete, and I played other sports through all that, and bowling was the least of my interest. And I just like to win, and I like to compete. And it turned out that this strangely ended up being the thing that I was most gifted at. But I think initially it was just the willingness I just wanted to play and beat somebody. And that's what sort of drove me for a long time, until I really understood the game enough to love it.
All right, man, that is, whew. I got a personal question for Eric, and then kind of you too, Kim. Hey, but Eric, being a father,
no one's here to see me. Really, nobody's here to see me.
Yo, man, hey, we're here to see the Kearneys.
Oh,
Period.
man. Here we go.
Yeah. Hey, but no, serious. Being a father and seeing how the world turns upside down here and there, how often do you have talks with your kids?
So, often. It's often. The changes and the transition that the world is going through right now requires us to speak to our children in an honest manner and letting them know what's really going on in the world. My son is 20 years old, and I've had the talk with him more than once. And any Black father and for that matter, any mother who has a son of color knows what the talk is. So I have been in a situation where I've had that conversation, that difficult conversation with my son more than once. And to be honest with you, we had that conversation again, just in February, and again in March. And we've literally gone through different scenarios of what could happen, right. What can happen when you're driving, or what can happen when you're walking in the street, or how would you, or when you're jogging. We have had those tough conversations, and we've let him know that, the world is not, is not necessarily for you, in a sense that they will see your skin. And so we have to make you aware of that.
Okay. For you, Kim, not the same question. My question is, as a mother, what is your biggest fear having an African-American son, almost like I said, about to be 21, soon, what is your biggest fear? I'm
scared every day. I'm scared for my children. And I hate that I have to say that or feel that, but, I want to know that I fear that I can't always keep them safe. And, that brings me anxiety, because I want them to have everything that they can have. And I want them to have joy and love and be treated fairly and lovingly. And, that there's not a day that goes by that I don't worry that we may not be able to provide that for them. And so, that's just a reality of the times we live in right now.
Absolutely. Kim Green, she says, hey, Kim and Eric, does your daughter want to bowl and follow in your footsteps?
Hey, Kimberly Green, your son plays basketball at Elon, which is about 20 minutes from us. And I hate that we didn't get to see him play. But Ava has no interest in bowling. She has 2 blank bowling balls in this house she wants. She bowled. Gigi came to practice one summer, and she bowled, and it was when I was still bowling, and so I practiced. We bowled for about a week, and Ava bowled so much that I was like, they're gonna start charging me. And I don't think she's thrown 5 shots since then. She
Oh
wants no
wow.
part of it. She's at the bowling alley. She's there every day with us at practice, and but maybe sometime, but
Maybe one day,
certainly not now.
but it's not now.
has she ever sat down long enough? Because you say she's 8, so I know she's like, I'm gonna sit down and watch this for a hot second and boom. But has she ever sat down and watched mom do her thing on YouTube, or just any little videos that you have of you?
She has.
She's interested when she sees her on TV. That's for sure. She's, we certainly have exposed her to it, but Ava likes Descendants 3.
No, she likes zombies.
And she likes zombies in Disney Plus. So yeah.
She did a little thing for school, this sort of pig collage of, I don't think it said anything about the fact that I had titles. It said Mommy Coach INT. She has sisters.
It said you had 10 titles.
Okay, yeah, she did that.
She doesn't even know what a title is.
But hey, she wrote on there, "Mommy has titles," though, so she knows something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If bowling comes on TV, she's like, "Oh, are those your friends?" And then that's about it.
That's about it.
That's all she cares to know.
Hey, look, I don't know if you know Marilyn Gray, but she's trying to organize this bowl and eat where, kind of like just an old reunion get down. Said you guys need to come down and just come and chill with the old guys. Or sorry, let me rephrase that. The seasoned bowlers that maybe don't bowl anymore, or something like that.
What bowling center is it at?
She's not for sure yet, but like I said, it's in the works. So like I said, we are trying to. I guess she's trying to figure it out, and I will keep you guys posted.
Did they still have that good restaurant at Cow Bowl?
The soul food place. It's called Medea's, I think, or Medea's.
Oh, I don't know. It sounds like it's changed ownership, but
yeah. But what was over there at first?
It was a soul food restaurant. I don't remember what it was called.
Oh, hey,
oh yeah, I remember that place. Yeah.
Oh God,
where was that place?
It's been too many years. We're
yeah.
What was the last time you guys came down to the West Coast over here?
We go home every year for the holidays. We swap Thanksgiving and Christmas because we go to DC or California. So we're always home. I haven't been to Southern California though in a good while.
Oh man, yeah.
Linda's trying to embarrass me. Yes, that is my girlfriend. Yes, and Linda Barnes is my girlfriend.
Gigi used to come and spend a good amount of time with us at our house and work at the training center when I was still in Texas, and she couldn't have been better with Ava, and so they are best buds. Gigi, yeah, we miss our Jasmine, but
it was M&M's was at Cowboy.
Thank you. That is it. Yes.
So people don't give this combination enough credit sometimes in the industry. You know that Gigi was the world youth champion in singles. Oh, all events. Excuse me.
I'm about to say, whoa, you got to correct yourself. It was all events.
Yeah, all events, and she set the record. Do you know who her coach was that week?
That beautiful lady sitting next to you.
Right here.
So somehow I should get some credit in that. But,
right here.
I've been fortunate to work with
how was that moment to see African American lady coach and an African American bowler get up there, have that moment to share with each other to win a gold medal?
It's special. It's special because I feel like, we were there for a little bit of Gigi's rise. when she was sort of trying to figure out what she was going to do, where she was going to bowl in college. We got to meet her when she was still in high school. She was a part of the TNBA ITRC group that came, and so we met her at a younger age. But I think at the moment you don't always realize the impact. Like I know with Trisha at the U.S. Open that day, I was like, I never bowled Cheryl for a championship. Like you don't realize. I don't think any of us realize the impact sometimes. I mean, there's,
Right.
I feel like hold on tours, like my family's watching, they care if I win, and everybody else could kind of could care one way or the other. But, as you travel the country and as you meet people and you realize that, they were there in support of you, and, it's eye-opening, it's heartwarming, it's incredible. But I think at the moment you don't always know the importance of what's just happened. And that probably was something that happened that day in Lincoln, in Nebraska when Gigi won that. And,
Right.
We're certainly proud of all that she has done and all that she's continuing to do to broaden this sport and bring it to everybody and everybody.
Absolutely. Question for both, or for Kim and for both of you guys, honestly, because both of you guys coach. Who inspired you to start coaching?
All right, it's easy for me. It was Kim. When we had the opportunity when she had the opportunity to go to Delaware State, I never understood the magnitude and the impact that she would have on young women. I just didn't get it. And when I got there and when I saw her coaching, and I saw the impact that she was having on these young women as moving from being girls to young women, then I was like, this is cool. I mean, I never saw someone so apt to being what they were. So it was what she was born to do. And it was evident. It was evident from the day she took the position. So I wanted to be a part of it. So then I started trying to, really, really learn the game. I was like, hey, this is cool. So tell me what it is I need to do to help. And so that was my inspiration.
Initially I want to say my college coach, Pat Rossler, just because she taught me the game of bowling. I had great coaches kind of growing up, but, that was where I first understood the game more. But, I talk again about playing other sports in high school, and I knew that I wanted to coach then. I didn't think it was going to be bowling, but I knew that, people had made a difference in my life, even with the support that I had at home.
Right.
They had encouraged me to drive and be better and be better. And I liked that feeling. I liked being able to bring out the best in people. And so it sort of started there. I love what I do. It is hard. And I feel like it gets harder. I thought the easier part was going to be teaching the game, but the harder part is, Coach Clay, the harder part is the responsibility that you have with these young women and being a mentor and trying to teach them how to navigate in this world and how to just figure this all out. And I love that part, but it continues to be the hardest part because you can't rest on your laurels. It's different. Every group, every kid I get,
Right.
You've got to find a way, just like in the game though. Like you got to figure, like good coaches find a way to adapt. They're the ones that have to adapt to the athletes learning, their best learning method. And so it's the same thing. Like I find that I have to just always be learning and figuring out ways to reach them, to make them their best.
You're absolutely right. And like I said, me coaching, the high school and travel leagues, as far as football, basketball, and all of that, I've had to, like you said, had to adapt because everybody learns differently. And so you can't coach that person the same way you coach this person. And, I think that's what elevates, the coaching and to get you where you are. But the most satisfying thing is like Angela just said, definitely the best years of your life. When you see things like that, it touches your heart because you like,
Right.
I made a difference.
Yeah.
You know,
The kids that hated me or the kids that Angela was not one of them, but I had a couple there. I was like, yeah, she's not going to reach out later in life.
Yeah, that team was a special team.
It was a different team.
That was a special team.
that is crazy.
So you win.
Hey, so for Eric, hey, now that you're done with USBC, you help Kim coach at A&T. But besides that, what else do you do?
Man, let's see. So, so I'm a consultant. I'm a business consultant. I lead an organization called the Software Vault out of Dallas, Texas. Good friend of mine who established that business in 2011 has brought me on, and she's been great. She's been a great mentor and someone who's extremely talented, in the IT field. But with that, there's some other things that are coming down the line that I really can't talk about at this point. Yeah. But just know that the things that that I have in the works.
Okay, that's what's up there. Hey, Kim, for you, coaching collegiate young women, how often do you have those talks to where you really, really kind of sit down and like give them that heart to heart, like not no coaching player, like a mom and daughter? Do you ever step into that boundary?
Yeah, every week. every week. So, when I first got to A&T, everything was on the lanes, and we have kind of a limited amount of time there because, we got to get there. They open at 3 and leagues come on. So we've got like 2.5 hours and we're just rushing and hurrying and trying to, how do I make them better? How do I make them better? And I remember we were at a head coaches meeting, and our basketball coach is like, hey, I meet with, I have a weekly meeting with, these guys, and my other assistant coach has a weekend. I was like, oh, I don't really do that. And it occurred to me that, in all of the hurriedness of trying to make them better on the lanes, I was missing the opportunity to find out what was going on outside of that. And so each week we have, each kid has it could be 5 minutes. They just swing in my office and I'm like, yeah, everything's cool. I'm happy. Classes are great. I like where I am. To it could be an hour of, I don't understand why I'm not playing. Why don't I travel? I don't like that, I got pulled in this situation. Help me understand why we do these things and these things. So, it starts out very bowling related, but then certainly it changes to, I don't know how, I don't dig this girl. I don't like my teammate.
Right.
How do we figure out how to still respect each other and understand that we may not like each other in order for us to accomplish our goals? So, those are some of the harder lessons. But
I couldn't even
very often
that one there.
Maybe too much. There's times when I feel like I get too close to them. But it's just kind of who we are.
Honestly, as a coach, and for me, I don't think there's too close, because a lot of times as a coach, we may not know situations at home. And now, well, with me coaching basketball and football, I see more single moms out there than I do even see dads. Like dads may pop up every purple moon, and you're like, man, where this dude come from? So you see the moms bringing them to practice, or the grandmas bringing them to practice, or the aunties bringing them to practice. So I consider that like, dude, these guys really look up to us. So we are those, like, just like you, Eric, you are that father figure that they may not have. And you may just something that you may say may stick to. You know what I'm saying? So hey, as a coach to a coach and people like you guys, that I say I truly appreciate what you're doing.
Well, thank you. It's again, like the non-negotiables that we talk about with the kids are the same things that we live by. Is that we have to put in the effort with the kids, and we put in the effort to make sure that they know that that they can come to us with anything, and B, that they're loved, and we start from there.
Yeah, and that's so important when, in our recruiting process, that is, I don't know what you're going to get anywhere else. Be cared for, and they're going to be safe. They're under us.
Yeah.
There you go. Hey, this is for Eric. Miss Parker. Hey, Miss Parker. Hey, do you remember Bowling versus West grudge matches doing TNBA?
Yeah, I certainly remember those grudge matches. I've bowled in some wars, especially in the 90s and the early 2000s. So, it was that I certainly remember the East-West grudge matches for sure.
Look, we didn't even ask Eric. Hey, Eric, what is your biggest bowling accomplishment?
Ridiculous.
Come on, bro. Come on.
Hey, is that game winner next to you? Is that game winner?
Hey, little low crossover from right to left and pulled up from 3.
Brandon, don't laugh at him. He thinks he's so funny. It's not funny.
Hey, Kim, if you only knew how dead serious he really is, because, man, hey, I'm telling you.
Besides Kim, honestly, some of the things that we did at USBC, under the tutelage of Stu Upson and with the assistance of Amanda Vermillion, we did some really, really cool things. We put together a program at USBC that could possibly live on forever with the TNBA, TNBA Team USA Youth Challenge, with the cooperation of Michael Doc Boykins. He and I got into a room and said, okay, what are we going to do here? How are we going to get these kids involved in the sport of bowling who may not have the opportunities that some other children have. Right. And so for us to put together something like that, to get the board's approval, and to select kids from all over the country to come to Dallas for a 4-day experience under Kim and Rod Ross and and Stephen Padilla and now Lou Marquez and Brian O'Keefe at the time. Yeah. So, and these kids, they would come in and they didn't understand what it took to be on Team USA, but when they left, they understood. They had an immersion into that. So those were some of the things. That was an unbelievable experience. The Susan G. Komen, Bowl for the Cure, month that we were able to, raise so much money, in the bowling community and for a good cause. And just, there's so many things. The AWBA, Gary Ryan and that group over there, where they thought enough of me to put me back on their advisory board, their executive advisory board this past month, and getting them going and putting them out into the forefront to now where they are actually a Paralympic sport. It's just, those are some of the things that we were able to do at USBC that, that don't really get a lot of mention, but yet we did some pretty cool stuff.
Do you miss being in the forefront of the sport of bowling?
No, I don't. I miss being in the background and doing the things that are necessary to promote other people. That's what I miss.
That's what's up there, man. Like being in the position you were for USBC, that had to be a hard position because you're making decisions for millions. I don't know how many bowlers.
Yeah. you know, the decisions, and make no mistake, the decisions that I was entrusted to make, you know, certainly affected a lot of people. Um, and again, you take all of the information that you can possibly gather, and within a reasonable time frame, and you look at it, and then you try to take it, and then you try to look at it from all angles, and then you sit down and you get around some people who you believe have the best interest of the sport, and you know, have the best interest of the sport in mind, and you make a decision and you stick by it.
There you go. Hey, see it, LC Bugler. He's up from that way. He's asked Kim, tell everyone what your dad meant to you and your bowling.
So I said a little bit earlier that, you know, it was my dad that started us, you know, me and my sisters bowling. And, you know, there were many years where I was like, you know, I don't really dig this. I don't want to do it. When I was younger, and, you know, we did it. I know I continue to do it just out of love for him. And I'm not sure I could have had a bigger supporter than I did throughout my career and my life. You know, there wasn't a moment that my dad wasn't behind us, my mom and my dad. I think because my dad's personality was much bigger, you know, he got noticed much more. But, you know, my parents were at everything that my sisters and I bowled. And, you know, he was there on Saturday mornings trying to teach kids. And, you know, whether it was our center or when our center closed, he went to another center, and just, you know, we're all in college or out of college, and he's still teaching youth bowling because he cared about and that interaction with young people, and giving them a direction and giving them the support. So he's very much missed. And, you know, I couldn't, you know, there's a lot of people in the bowling industry that remember him, and you know, mostly because of his kind heart. And so we are, you know, as a family, blessed and fortunate to have had him as long as we did. And I know Sid remembers him fondly, so thank you, Sid.
And it's so crazy because I hate to, not that I hate to say this, but it wasn't, not knocking your college coach. It wasn't your college coach that where you got that inspiration from. It was your dad.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Very true. You know, as I was coming out of my mouth, I'm not sure I've ever thought about it that way, but, you know, yes.
Yeah, like I said, sometimes, you know.
Again, by example. Remember I said earlier.
By example.
It wasn't always so much like and they said, this is what you need to do, and this is what's right. They did it. They showed up every day, and they did it right every day.
Absolutely.
And that's how we learned.
Absolutely, dude. I always kind of get to the, is there anything we haven't asked the Kearney family? Eric, like, no. Serious. Is there anything that we haven't asked, that, or just something that you guys want to share with our viewers, man? That you know, something, just, it could be anything.
Always make him go first.
You know? Oh yeah, man. You know, we love this sport, and you know, this sport has, like we said, this sport has given us so much. It's given us each other, and it's, you know, I can remember from, you know, my grandfather got me started in this sport when I was, you know, 3 years old. You know, going to, you know, Fairlanes University in Adelphi, Maryland, and bowling on Sundays when I was supposed to be in church. You know things, and you know, to my mother, who is a Hall of Famer back in the Washington D.C. area. You know, and everybody knows Miss Dina, and she, and you know, and who she is, and so I was her son for a number of years, and just being in the bowling alley. So again, I say that to say, you know, this sport will give you everything that you give it. You know, if you really, really want to compete at this sport, in this sport, or if you just want to be involved, it will give you everything that you give it.
Love it. I love it. What about you, Kim?
I think the only thing that I want to take the opportunity to thank you for having us on and allowing us to kind of share a little bit of our story. I want to thank all of my friends out there that tuned in to offer their support and, remind us of a lot of good times that we've had in this game. As Eric said, Leanne always says it this way. She's like, bowling has given me everything that I have. And, I am grateful for that. And I'm grateful for all of the support and friendships that I've found along the way. And, I hope that I have found a way to give back because I know that I've been given so much. So that's sort of what, that's just who we are. That's who I am. That's who we raise our kids to be.
That is absolutely wonderful. And like, you guys have no idea what you guys coming on the show means to me. Like, seriously, like, I've never, like, I knew of both of you guys, but I've never would have reached out and said, hey, Kim, hey, Eric, you guys want to come on the show? Because I was like, man, my show is, I'm just a young guy from the inner city that grew up with little things here and there, but it was just like, who wants to come on and share their story? But you'd be surprised what comes out of it.
Brent, it's just like we said, man, three degrees of separation. If you really want it in this community, you can get it, right?
Absolutely, man. And dude, it's so crazy because I get so much support with this show. Because like I said, first I was doing it 5 days a week, and I did it for 5 days a week for a couple of months, and I was like, some days I get home from work and I'm like, dude, I don't feel like it today, but I knew people were looking forward to this show. So then I said, okay. And then I went 2 days a week and they was like, can you at least give us 3? And so I'm like, you know what? I'm going to give you guys 3, period, point blank. Because it's days I go Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. On Monday and Friday, sometimes I sit here and I'm like, man, who can I call on video just to talk to him? Because I miss this. Like, this is just me, and so for you guys, I absolutely thank you. Like, from the bottom of my heart, it really means a lot.
Well, we're thankful and we're grateful that you asked us to be on. You got a good thing going here, and we enjoy it.
And like I said, her doubles partner, that is my girl forever. Like, I love Linda. I love her. She is absolutely the best. But look, you guys keep doing what you're doing. Good luck with A&T. I said, now that I know where you're coaching, I know where Eric is, I'm gonna pay attention. I'm gonna start looking for you guys. I might even try to make it out there and come to a match because I'm a huge Duke fan. So I need to come to North Carolina and get to a basketball game.
We're 45 minutes away from Duke University's campus.
And
not that I would take you.
North Carolina, we're not Duke fans, but please come see us. Stay in touch. Anything that we can do.
Let us take you to a football game.
You gotta go to an A&T game.
Nothing like it.
Too. Is that where they play the it's the halftime show?
Absolutely, the best band in the land.
Look, Mr. Bias again. Look, he's
look. It's so bad. My son runs track here. Nicholas he runs track here. Everything is happening over here, man. You got to be here.
Hey, so look, I'm gonna hold y'all to that. Like, I'm gonna shoot Eric a text like, "E, I'm coming to North Carolina. Football season is here. What's up?"
It's a date.
The only thing you have to do is say when.
All right. Hey, I appreciate that, man. And see, this is why I love bowling. It's because we get to meet individuals from all over the place that has a story, and we don't know until they come out and actually kind of open up and share it with us.
Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But look, you guys, hey, have a great evening. And like, again, hey, thank you, Big Ron. I do. Hands down. I truly appreciate Ron Sims. Ron Sims, man, is my guy. It's my guy. He always told me he got my back, and he proved it when, a lot of people tell you, oh, I can do this, I can do that. But he showed me right here. This right here proved that Ron really has my back.
We love Ron. Ron is a good dude.
Yeah. So look, man, you guys, hey, love the family. I tell everybody, love the family, kiss the family, tell them be safe when they go out in the streets, and keep doing what you guys are doing, man. We love you guys.
Good luck to you in all your endeavors, man.
Do the same.
Man, thank you. Thank you, man. And I will talk to you guys later.
Make us out 5.
I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you, Kearney family.
Bye. Stay safe.
All righty.
All right. Take care.
Later. Guys, dude, hey, like I said, big ups to Ron Sims, dude. Thank you, Ron, for making that happen. Dude, hope you guys really enjoyed that show. If you guys missed it, go back. The Kearney family is absolutely amazing. The things they did for the sports, where they started, just in general, great people. So I just want to say thank you guys, man, for tuning in. You guys, like I said, absolutely amazing, man. Seriously. So y'all already know how I end the show is how I begin the show. And I want to thank whoever. Look at this. Linda, have you seen my cup?
I got a strike while the iron is hot. One of one, don't follow flocks. Man, I got this on lock. Team Harvey, team hustle, team can't be stopped. Just cop 900 blower, yeah, fresh out the shop. Let's start rolling. I'm an expert on the lanes. Yeah. Smooth approach, about to roll a perfect game. And well connected with the sport's biggest names. We can't talk unless an X on the frame. I'm here asking the questions, clear the air and confusion. Fresh, humble, and arrogant with the logo infusion. Red cup for the right vibe. I got the answers, you going live with Bowtie.
Guys, y'all already know. Hey, I got all the answers. You going live with Bowtie. Red cup for the right vibe. Hey, this cup right here, you guys have no clue. This is the new cup. Like I said, it says Mr. Bowtie here. And man, this cup is going everywhere. It has my name on here. This cup means absolutely. Oh, Linda, I can't tell you what's in it right now. I'll text you right now and tell you what's in it. I can't tell everybody. It's Bowtie juice. You see the Bowtie, right? Wait, you see the Bowtie, right? It's called Bowtie juice. That's what it is. But tomorrow's show, we have Tennille Milligan coming on. So, man, just tune in, be ready. And like as always, I tell you guys, love your family, be safe, take care of yourself. Like I said, things are opening up. But but hey, please still be careful. And I will talk to you guys later, man. So hey, thank you for all the support, man. You guys have no idea. And for that anonymous person that got this for Mr. Bowtie himself, myself, thank you from the bottom of my heart, man. Thank you. That's all I can really tell you. This here has it. Oh my goodness. Linda, I'm gonna reach out to Linda and Chris, both of them. They already know. They're on my list. I'm gonna text Linda right now. But hey, guys, you guys be safe. Take care of your family. Love each other. And thank you. Like I said, thank you, man.